Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast, where we're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you travel a little smarter. And I'd like to welcome back to the show all the way down in California. She's living her best life. How you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing so good because today's episode, we have a special guest that I love.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. You follow him on TikTok and a lot of other different places. And I'm the old guy that I need to get on TikTok one of these days, but you see him all over the social media, don't you?
Yeah, Marcus is just organically appearing in all aspects of my social media life.
I do apologize for that, Chris. I'm so sorry. You have to see my stupid crowd work videos or me trying to make a joke out of nothing. But
hey, you have a verified check mark next to your name on TikTok, which is pretty impressive.
Just gotta know the right people. That's all it is.
Well, we're excited to bring back to the show a good friend of the show. A lot of you have seen him on board the ships. He's back on the ships again, been up on the Disney Wonder here recently. Welcome back to the show, Marcus Monroe. Thank you so much for taking time to do this.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be back. I think is this my fourth time?
It is. One more time and you get a jacket, one of those gold jackets. You're going to love it. You'll look good in New York wearing that.
Oh, I love it. Like one of those SNL 5-timer jackets. I love it. Let's do it.
And for people that unfortunately large. Nobody else can see you, but we can see you. But you just got done with a photo shoot and you look amazing, don't you?
They put some stuff in my hair and I didn't have to put on any makeup, which I was so happy about. I should have, because I got like a little blemishes going on. I'm like, oh no, we'll do all that in post. I'm like, all right, great. So it was about like 7 outfit changes in about an hour and a half. And it was just like, I like the photographer I was working with today, this guy named Lucas Goldman, really good photographer in New York City, but I just don't like photo shoots. Something's awkward about them. I'd rather just have someone take a photo of me while I'm on stage and use that photo. But
call it good. Do you get to pick where you get the photo shoot at, or do they go, no, we're going to do it down here by this aircraft carrier? And you're like, what?
Well, today we were in the studio, so that was nice. I like studios because it's confined, it's controlled, and you don't have people looking at you like, on the street, like what's going on? Although I have noticed that if you ever come to New York, there's always something going on almost every block. So no one really looks at you weird in New York. You can pretty much do anything you want and no one cares. But if I was doing a photo shoot in like Milwaukee, where I'm from, people would be like, what you doing? Can we be in it?
Chris used to spend a lot of time in New York, didn't you, before the pandemic?
Before the pandemic that's still happening. I did. I was actually bi-weekly. When I was in college, wow. I would always be like, I'm going to live a bi-coastal life. And then as an adult, I realized that's not actually my jam.
I'm bilingual.
But I did live in New York basically for like half of every month for a while because of what I was doing. But I love New York. I think it's great. Also, listeners, don't test Marcus's assertion that you can do whatever you want in the streets of New York. Some things will get you stared at, for sure.
That's probably true. But the things I've seen just in like the last 2 days being home, I'm like, oh yeah, it feels good to be back. Like people wouldn't wear this or that in Milwaukee. And
that's true.
But yeah, you're right. Within reason. Let's keep it legal.
Well, before we talk about your time on the Wonder here recently, I just want to catch up. What's been up with you? I know that you started a podcast with Eric, and you guys are doing an amazing podcast. Marcus and Eric learn stuff from smarter people, and it seems to me like you've been transitioning a little bit. I mean, people from Disney Cruise Line know you as the comedian Juggler. That's just been amazing to see in the Walt Disney Theater. But what's been going on with you in your life over the last 2 years?
Well, thank you for the podcast plug. I think Eric and I have, wrapped up that podcast. I think I'm going to start my own. It was fun doing a podcast with my friend Eric, who's also a stand-up comic, but it's hard. I don't know how you do this with like different co-hosts and organizing guests and everything and putting one out every week. I just can't. So I've been doing a lot more stand-up comedy than I have juggling lately. Now, when you see me on the Disney ships, my family show still has a ton of juggling in it because I'm contractually obligated to do it. I don't think I could just go there and just like do stand up. But my adult show, I have kind of morphed it a little bit, and I kind of have snuck in some stand up there. Still like 10% juggling, 90% stand-up in the adult show. No one has said anything or complained, so it's so far so good. But I really just wanted to give myself a little bit of a challenge. This is going to sound weird, but when I was doing my comedy juggling show, there were times where I my mind would be somewhere else and I'd be doing the show and on autopilot, no pun intended. So for years I could go on no sleep and just do my show. And I was like, this isn't really fulfilling to me. And so I tried other things, but I was like, you know what? I just want to be completely present. And when I'm doing my stand-up comedy, I feel like I'm very aware of what's going on. I'm self-aware, but I'm also aware of my surroundings, and I'm have to be in the moment, which is it's a challenge for me. Not being in the moment, but just doing stand-up is a challenge, and I really have enjoyed it.
Well, since you did comedy all along during your juggling routine, was it a hard transition to kind of just start doing more comedy, putting more comedy into it? I mean, finding all those different, what am I trying to find? The words, those situations to kind of make fun of or
the material
comedy around the material. That's it.
Yeah. So finding the material hasn't been an issue for me. And I've heard this from other people. So I've only been doing stand-up, I've been thinking about this, maybe only 3 or 4 years. It's hard to say when I started because in my show, I would always have a little section that was just me telling jokes. And so it's hard to say, a lot of people say, I started stand up on this date or that date. But I think I could roughly say I've been doing it for about 3 years. And for just doing it for 3 years to already I can do an hour of stand up, that's a lot of material. When you're new to stand up, or I don't want to say I'm new to it, but when you're writing your first hour, you have so many things to talk about because you have your whole life that is pretty much what you're referencing as you're pulling material from and trying to make it funny. So it's been easy for me to find. I juggled professionally for 25 years. That's a big chunk of my stand-up because not a lot of people have 15 minutes on juggling right now. So that's been fun to talk about. Come see the adult show. You'll probably hear some of those jokes, but I find it very fun to sit down with a notebook and just write ideas, come up with something, and then put it on stage. And when it gets a laugh, it is the best feeling in the world. It's better than a lot of things in my life. It's when a new joke works, it's a great feeling.
One thing that I think a lot about is, have you ever heard of the 10,000 hour rule, Marcus?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So you probably put in way more than 10,000 hours on juggling, right? Because you've spoken on our show before that if you don't put in the practice, it doesn't get relegated to that sort of automatic response in your body.
Very true.
And my normal job, not just the fun thing I do with Steve podcasting, I'm a public speaker. And I recently, a couple of years ago, calculated how many hours I spent in front of an audience speaking.
Sure.
And I realized it was more than 10,000. And I was like, yes, I've got this. It's finally relegated to the back part of my my sort of automatic subconscious.
Sure.
But one thing I think about with things like stand-up is that even if you have 10,000 hours in stand-up, that is always going to be dependent on the variables in the room. So I bet you're just experiencing the joy of not even being able to use your subconscious all the time because you have to adapt to the room. That's sort of how I feel, at least when I'm in front of an audience.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's completely true. There's so many things you can't control. I was in Wisconsin last weekend doing a comedy club, and I say the same thing the same way one night, and it gets a huge response. The next day, same thing, same way, same timing, everything, and it just doesn't
Different
work.
Response, yeah.
And it's well, is it me or is it you? Because it's the same words. Just it's the layout of the room, it's the vibe in the room, it's the act before me, it's what people did during the day. If it's nice out, is it cold out, is it raining, is it sunny? So many things can make a show be great or not so good.
Yeah, that's a lot
it's hard to control.
Yeah. That's a lot like Steve's job. Steve keeps trying to fly the same route, but he keeps running into storms, and air traffic is no, you can't go this route anymore. What are you doing? But he's no, I got this. I've hit my 10,000. Don't worry.
Yeah, I can just get straight here. I was thinking when Marcus was talking about where your mind goes on autopilot and you're just kind of doing stuff, but you're thinking about what am I going to eat in that town when we get there? People probably don't want to know that when you're landing. So, anyways,
I bet you do though. You do have like your favorite places to eat. Like on cruise ports, I have my little place I like to go. But as a pilot, Steve, you probably know like where you have time to go here to get some dinner and make it back.
Well, and you'll appreciate this. What the worst thing is like when you go to someplace new, you're like all excited about it. You're like, oh, I'm going to go try this place and this and that and the other. And then you kind of get into that routine when you go back to the same place over and over and over again. And it's hard to get out of that routine. And that's what sometimes you just need to do is shake it up and find something else. So, well, let's turn to the cruise line then, Marcus. For a while when first Disney started sailing, they didn't have any extra acts on board. It was just like their own productions, their Broadway productions and everything like that. And then finally they started bringing on acts like you. When did you first start sailing again with Disney?
I think I have to look at my calendar here. I think it was November 2021.
Oh, that's right. Because you did the Magic, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I did the Magic.
You did those like staycation sailings?
No, I didn't do that. It was like actually like sailing to different places.
Okay.
And I loved it because like, yeah, you had to wear a mask on board. That was probably like my least favorite part, but it was like a port day every day, meaning like the ship wasn't busy at all, even though it was a sea day or something. You know what I mean? Like there was hardly anyone on the ship. And that was like really fun to just walk around an empty ship. For me, it's different because after I perform, everybody knows who I am and loves to talk to me. And I love that. But it was just like, wow, no one's here. It's kind of fun to have like a whole ship to yourself. No lines anywhere. No one getting in your way. The elevators were coming right away. It was like this I could get used to. But of course, the ship was at like 40% capacity or 50% capacity, whatever it was. I'm not even sure. And the shows were also really fun because people were just happy that there was, the guest entertainers were back and we were doing the shows again. So people loved that. I can't remember if the shows were good or not. Like I can't remember any of like the actual shows.
Your own shows?
Yeah, I don't remember, but like I think they were probably good because
you got asked back. So those comment cards were working for you.
Well, I have I video record every show, and like I've done so many shows, they all kind of blend together. Sometimes if something crazy happens, I'll remember that specific show, but usually after I get off stage, I'm like, what happened? Was it good? Are we good? Do we have to start the car? Are we good? So yeah. Then so like Disney was doing this thing where they kind of used the same acts for like 6 months, like before the pandemic. I know they were trying that out. So they were going to have 4 acts on one ship for like 6 months. And I don't think that they're doing that anymore.
Yeah. Like you had to stay with the ship, right? Was that what they were trying to do? Or could you come and go? Because like with the regular cast members or crew members, they had to stay. They couldn't leave when you got into the ports and everything like that initially. So was that what they wanted to do? Or could you as a performer come and go?
We could come and go, but they wanted the acts to be before the pandemic. This was a new thing they were trying to start, where it was like every performer would like have like 1 week on, 1 week off for like 6 months or something like that.
Okay, I got you.
But I couldn't do that because I can't commit to, like, I have stuff booked, like one-offs here and there that I just can't cancel. So I'm glad that they're not doing that.
Yeah, I guess the pandemic wiped that out, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think they want to kind of go that way, but it would give less performers the ability to perform on Disney Cruise Lines. They would make it easier for like the techs on the ship, just like come in, have the same acts all the time and know what to do. But I'm not for it. Just because it takes away, because then you have the same acts on the ship. Like I think it's fun. And then if you like go on the same ship, like once twice a year or something, you might see the same performers. You're like, no, I wanted some variety. So I'm just saying.
Kind of like Cabanas, Chris. You kind of get tired of seeing that same breakfast every morning, right? So.
Yes. That is a topical transition. I think, Marcus, that one thing that I think would be interesting to me is if you have ever sailed on other cruise lines, like done acts on other cruise lines.
Oh yeah, I've done acts on almost not every cruise line, but a lot of them. So my very first cruise ship I did was a princess ship. It was the Coral Princess out of Aruba. I got the ship in Aruba, and the show went so bad. So bad. Like I can't even watch video of this show it was my dream to perform on cruise ships. As a juggler, that's like the pinnacle. You get like, people say, what about Vegas? Jugglers really don't play like their own show in Vegas. They'll do like a variety show, but there's not like a juggler. I mean, Jeff Savilico has a juggling show in Vegas on the Strip, but it's not like David Copperfield level, right? So cruise ships was like the dream. So in high school, I would just like, all I want to do is perform on cruise ships. And then in college, I submitted to a cruise agency, got selected, got booked on a cruise. So excited. Princess, a little older. Now, at this part in my career, I didn't really have like a good show. I had like a good 20 minutes, I'd say, but I didn't have like a 45-minute show by any means. I was juggling soccer balls and riding the unicycle, and I had short hair and I'd wear a vest and a tie. And it was very like what you'd expect to see on a cruise, the juggling show you'd expect to see on a cruise ship. Like, I don't even know. I
know what you're saying. It's like what you would expect to come in and see, right? But you're trying to fit that mold a little bit.
I was trying to fit that mold. And then like, I was just like so lonely. I was by myself all the time. And I didn't, the show was so bad. The first show I ever did on a cruise ship, it was probably like a 6 out of 10, but I was going to the magic show the next day and I was walking behind this older couple. Well, it was a princess ship. They were all older couples, but I was like, right behind him. And the guy goes to his wife, well, I hope he's better than the juggler, not knowing I'm right behind him. So then I said, I shouldn't have said anything, but I was like, oh, that hurt. So I was like, I said, no one's better than the juggler. He turned around and then I saw his soul leave his body. He's just like, oh no, I said that. And he's right behind me, and whatever. Oh, but thankfully Princess had me back. And I think I did redeem myself. I did like 4 more Princess ships within that first year I started. And then they had me back maybe like 8 years ago. And I did another ship. But I'm not trying to get cruise work. Disney, I think, is like the only line that I want to work right now.
And why is that? How does the Disney audience compare to like the other cruise ships?
Well, I will say the other cruises are a lot less work. If I'm being completely honest, I usually just do my show one night and I do it twice that same night for dinner seatings. And then I'm done the whole week. That's it. Just one night of work. So that's not bad. But on Disney, I get there. I got my, family shows Disney through one night. Then I have the adult show. Then I'll have a workshop the other night. And then I'll have like one day off. And then we get off the ship and then get back on because it's the end of a cruise and the beginning of a cruise. Then I'll do those 3 things again. So you can see how it's like, let's see. So 2, 4, 8. There's like 10 commitments I have to do in a week versus just like 1 on a normal cruise. But I will say that, it's more work, but it's also more like rewarding. And I have a lot of fun because to me, I don't really consider, it's like technically it is work, but I enjoy it so much that it doesn't like, I'm not like dreading going to the workshop or doing my adult show. Like I really look forward to it. So I think that's like the difference. I like the people I meet on the ships. I've met passengers who are dear friends to me and my wife to this day. I did a show in Minneapolis 2 weeks ago, and some people who were on the Disney Wonder in Alaska live in Minneapolis and came to the show and we hung out. It was great. So and that doesn't really happen so much on other lines. And I think it happened on Disney because I'm so accessible. I have an adult show and a workshop and a family show. So people usually have like at least 2 or 3 times they can hang out with me for an evening. And so that you kind of builds a rapport a little bit, stronger relationships.
You have a workshop?
Yeah. Now I will say like the workshop, like I do a how to juggle workshop, and like some people I guess can learn, but it took me 3 months. I'm trying to teach these kids how to juggle in like 30 minutes. It's really tough because people get discouraged. They're like, why are we learning this skill? It takes this guy years to learn. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I wish there was like a simple magic trick I could teach everyone, but then everyone would think I'm the magician and I'm not. So I have to do the workshop, and it's kind of just an excuse, I think, for there to be like an activity with me there. I mean, not like it's like me, but every like Fly On does it variety act has to do those workshops. But like I know some magicians use it as like another show or use it as a way to sell their DVDs. And I don't sell DVDs anymore. So I don't know. I just have to do it. It's fine. I don't mind.
Do you sing?
I wish. Oh my God. I took voice lessons in high school, Chris. I wanted to be able to sing, but that lady, she took my money and she was like, yeah, you're great. And I can't sing. Can you sing?
Oh no. I feel like singing is a hobby, as in I'll sing in the car. Oh yeah.
Oh
I'll sing
yeah.
in the car.
Oh, I'll sing anywhere. I just want to warn
won't
everyone
get paid for it. Yeah, I don't get paid.
Not good, and I know it's not good. Like I have friends of mine are professional singers, and yeah, they give me a lot of crap because I'm just not at their level.
Well, you're a double threat, right? A juggler and a comedian.
Yeah,
we're just expanding the way we talk about it.
I can unicycle too. So does that make me a triple
threat? Oh my goodness, you need to change your business cards.
Oh, business.
Marcus Monroe, triple threat.
I don't have business cards. Do people do business cards still? I wonder.
I mean, you're the entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, but I'm not good at it. You
don't do the business cards. Well, that's fine.
I mean, I don't know.
I support the fact that you've grown organically through the Princess Cruise Line and now Disney.
So I did Princess, then I did Royal Caribbean, and I was on royal ships a lot. Then I did Carnival, and for like 2 years I did Carnival almost every week. And that was good because I would like fly on to the ship, do my show, then fly home the next day. So I'd be on the ship for less than 24 hours. And that's like the most amount of time you want to spend on a Carnival ship. So that was really nice. And then I started Disney, and yeah.
You were just up in Alaska. Talk to us about that. What do you think of cruising through Alaska? I mean, that's kind of an iconic cruise for a lot of people to be able to see those ports and everything like that. Of course, you're working while you're going through all those different places. But what are some of your favorite places you got to stop and see?
Oh, well, first of all, love me an Alaskan cruise. Love it, love it, love it. 10 out of 10, no notes. I think if you can do an Alaskan cruise, you should do it. And I would definitely recommend splurging for that balcony cabin because the views, the scenery is awesome. Yeah, so I did hear that the captain on this Disney Wonder this season doesn't like going up where they're like you can see land on both sides. Like they don't go up the Northern Passage. They went like on the outside.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, which I was really bummed about because I love.
That's like the best part.
Exactly. Like you see all those small towns, and like there was times where he would do that, but like there were like 2 days where I was like, we usually see stuff here because like my wife and I just sit on deck 4 and we look for whales the whole time. We take the chair cushions from the outdoor chairs, like they're blue and they're strapped down. We untie those and we put them on the benches that have the life jackets on them. And so we'll like sit on there. It's like a nice cushion. Then we'll get another chair cushion to take that off and put it for like the back. So we have like a comfortable like sit, and for our back, it's great. And we'll sit out there for hours and we'll like go back and forth on deck 4 to see if we see any whales or activities. And we saw so many whales this year. It was amazing. We saw some orcas. We saw a whale breach right in front of the right alongside the ship, just a full-on humpback breach. It's great. So like we did the normal Alaska stops. What is it? It goes like Juneau, Ketchikan, Skagway.
Yeah.
And then the glacier. This is a sea day. Let's just call it what it is. It's still a sea day.
Right,
but it's cool that they're like, oh no, it's not a sea day. It's glacier day. I'm like, it's a sea day. You're not. Yeah, a little marketing team genius over there. Yeah, I mean, I just love it. Like, so our favorite things to do in Skagway, we like to get off the ship and we go to this bike shop and we rent these e-bikes and we just go all around. This year we took like a bike 9 miles out to this town called Dia, maybe it's Dia.
I'm not sure.
Well, it's right next to Skagway on this bike, and it was a town that was kind of like prospering during the gold rush, and then an avalanche came and killed a lot of people in that town. And then that no one wanted to come to that town anymore because of the avalanche, and the people were like just dead. Sorry, this podcast took a turn. So then it became a ghost town, and then the forest that it was like this town was like on kind of just like took back I get what am I trying to say? The forest took back everything. So it was like now there's no remnants of a town there. It's just woods and forest. It kind of like the town's like melted into the forest or something. The forest took back its land. I think that's what I was trying to say. So it was a really beautiful place, really fascinating story. And there was also like a big ship. I think, oh God, I forget the name of the ship, but it was like this huge sailing vessel. And I was reading like a little plaque there, and it was like, oh, this ship was like abandoned by its crew. Then another crew came in and said, this is our ship. And the old crew that abandoned it had to fight the other people that tried to get it. There's this whole thing. It's really a lot of history there in Alaska. It was like the wild northeast, northwest. I don't know. It's crazy out there.
Yeah, I think in some ways, I think Alaska still has that kind of feeling when you get up there and everything like that. That's kind of cool stories. Yeah, that area, Skagway, used to be the biggest town at one point during the gold rush. They had they had their own opera, and there's a couple other different things that they had there. It was like
I did not know they had their own opera.
Yeah. They had a opera house and everything else. So
wait, is Skagway the like one where it's basically right off the ship is the town?
Yeah.
And they have like that old house of negotiable something or another. I think I do.
You're thinking of Ketchikan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skagway, you have to walk like over, like you have to walk a little bit into the town. I mean, the town is pretty much right there, but where the ship parks, you have to walk a little bit, and then you pass like the White Pass train.
Yeah. I know what we're talking about now. I think that is one of the coolest ports because it really does feel old-timey.
Yeah, I used to not like it because I used to be like, there's nothing to do here. And now I'm like, oh, there's so much to do. You just have to seek it out.
Yeah, a ton of history. And I never thought about the e-bikes before, too. I bet you that's kind of
so fun. They go fast. They're great. We were going like 30 miles an hour going down this hill. We're like, this is not safe.
Have you ever gone up Mount Roberts in Juneau? You know, the tram that takes you up to the top?
Oh, no, I haven't done that. Have you?
Like that? No, I've actually never done that either. That's like quintessential like Alaska Airlines crew. People used to like go up there. You hike up for free, and then you hike up and you can ride down for free or something like that. So cheap pilot thing.
After my shows on the Wonder, I was supposed to fly to Chicago because I had a show at a school called Valparaiso in Indiana.
Yeah.
And so I flew on an airline that you might be familiar with, Steve. And when I got to Chicago to get my bags, no bags, they were still in Juneau.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But so then I had to drive to Indiana because that's where I'm staying. And then I got a call from the airline saying, oh, your bags are coming on another flight in the morning. And it was fine because I had time. My show was at 10 o'clock at night, and I landed at midnight in O'Hare. So they were like, oh, yeah, your bags. Anyway, long story short, I had to drive back to O'Hare to get my bags. I got my bags, but
not good.
I left in Juneau, which was terrible because I checked in at like 8 a.m. for a 1 o'clock flight. I'm like, babe, you had time.
How does that stuff happen? I don't know.
No, I was happy to get them. No big deal.
So with your Alaskan sailings, were you doing back-to-backs, or did you get off the ship because you weren't doing every single day of shows?
Yeah, so I did. It was midweek to midweek is what my schedule was. So I got on Juneau Day, and then I left on Juneau Day. And they always fly the acts the day before. So one day I got there, like we got to Juneau, my wife and I, at 3 o'clock. The other time we got there like 7 or 8. And there was about 2 or 3 weeks in between both of our weeks. So it wasn't consecutive. It was, we got to go back to New York, and I got to do some other shows, and then came back on the Wonder. And it was great because the amazing tech staff at the Wonder let me keep my bags on the ship. So I didn't have to check any bags going for the first cruise.
So that airline didn't have a chance to lose it for you.
That's right.
I've been on one sailing that you were on, but I missed your adult show.
My favorite show is the adult show.
But I've been on another sailing with a variety act, and I did go to their adult show. And it was interesting to me what constitutes an adult show on Disney.
Yeah.
Because you're calling it an adult show because it's like, I mean, at least this other act was, I don't remember what they're called. Buckets and something.
Oh, Buckets and Boards.
Buckets and Boards.
Love those guys. They've been on this podcast.
Yeah. I've never got to be on an episode with them, but I went to their adult show and it was like just sort of like funny, mild humor, right? Like nothing super intense.
Yeah, just no kids really. Like Buckets and Boards, they're a clean duo anyways. So they're based out of Branson and they do a really great show. Actually, I met them in Alaska like 5 years ago for the first time, maybe 6 now. Very good act. And they just don't have they don't have like a racy show. You know what I mean? Like PG. Yeah. All they do is like, so yeah, some acts of what I do in my adult show, I don't think I could get away with in the family show. So that's nice. I do take some risks in the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think they were joking about it being an adult show. They were like, we're not an adult act. So welcome to our adult show, but there's nothing really adult. And then one of them was playing the drums and pulled open his shirt and was like, no, I am wearing pasties, but he had just put some duct tape on his chest. And like, that was the most risky joke. Everything else was just like the same family show, but in the like tube or whatever they call it. So I'm trying to picture what that looks like. This has been a hot topic on the podcast because I know you haven't been on the Wish yet, right?
No.
And it'll probably be that they don't bring a lot of variety acts onto the Wish because the cruises are so short that they can just fill each night with the shows they have, right? So one of our listeners asked us to ask you if you've been on the Wish or we're going to be on the Wish, but I think the answer to that is no, right?
I haven't been on the Wish, haven't been asked to do it. So no, I haven't been on there yet. I know Steve's been on and you seem to like it.
Yeah, we did like a little cruise together. And the thing
you're on there too. Oh, awesome.
Yeah. The thing that's been the hot button topic is that the sort of like space that they are doing the adult type of stuff in is right in the middle of the ship and it's open air. So anybody could sort of walk around and hear what's happening in there. It's called Luna. And that is like the largest show space where, like, for example, they play Match Your Mate in there and things like that. So it would be very interesting to hear from a variety act who did have to play in the Wish, how they utilized a adult space at night that was also in the very middle of the ship.
So kids are walking by theoretically?
100% kids are walking by. And will absolutely overhear what's being said. Like there's no soundproofing.
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I don't like that. Not because of like I'm a big proponent of like I like to be people seated or sitting looking at one direction without the distractions of other guests walking around. I think that's the main thing is because you want to keep focus. It's so hard these days because people are on their phones doing this, doing that. So when you have like people walking by a performing venue and you can see them and look at them and they can wave at you and you can wave at them and they can hear what you're saying, makes it a little harder on the performers. Maybe some people don't have any problem with it, but it doesn't seem too conducive for a comedy show, but I haven't been there yet. So maybe
you'd figure out. It is actually closed doors on the lower level. So maybe you would like that, but there's a balcony seating that is open up to the main part of the ship. And that's why people walking by would still be able to hear you. But
Gotcha.
I'm just super fascinated when they open up these ships to longer itineraries, what they will do for this specific, this exact use case.
Now, did they just announce a new ship, Steve?
Yeah.
They did the Treasure, which was like on nobody's radar. I mean, this is the geeky stuff with these Disney Cruise Line, with like Disney Cruise Line fans. You're like, everybody else has got who's going to win the Super Bowl. And people for like months now have been speculating what the name of the ship is going to be, but it's the Treasure. What do you think about that?
Cool. Is it the same? Is like the sister ship to the Wish?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different themed. It's like darker, it looks like, and everything like that. I'm excited about some of this stuff. Are you a Haunted Mansion fan?
Oh, yeah, the Haunted Mansion. That's fun.
So there looks like there might be like a Haunted Mansion lounge, which that might be kind of cool.
Ooh, that'd be
cool.
Sort
of like a tiki lounge, maybe. I don't know. That's my speculation. I'd love to
see
that.
When is the ship supposed to come out?
2024. Yeah.
Oh, not even that far away. Wow. Yeah. So wait, did people know they were making another ship, or was this just out of the blue?
Yeah.
They're making 3.
Whoa. I'm so out of the loop. They don't consult with me.
Well, the funny thing is this new ship is the ship that will probably have a 7-night itinerary. So it could be the ship you go on if you were to go on one of the new ships, because those 3 and 4 nights just don't bring on variety acts very often. So I feel like you could be on the Treasure headlining the inaugural.
Ooh, I'd love to do it. I got asked to do, this is such a funny, I got asked to do the Carnival hold on, which ship was it? One of their first cruisings. And I was like so taken off guard that they wanted me to do what was it called?
I'm trying to remember what the latest Carnival ship was called.
Panorama.
The Panorama. Was it that one? Was it recent?
They have a new ship called the Celebration.
Oh, yeah,
They wanted me to do the cruise. It was out of England. I'd fly home from Spain.
Have you cruised through Europe yet? I think you have, right?
I've done I went to Turkey and Israel on a Royal Caribbean ship randomly. And then I've been to Australia.
Oh, wow.
I've never done like the Med. And I would love to.
The food in the Med is amazing. Like people talk about, I'm not a huge foodie like Chris is, but I mean, when you go over there and you realize just how good the food is, it's so fresh. It's just amazing. So I got to ask you a couple of questions just quick, because people are going to want to know these kind of things. If you don't mind, and these are just kind of like nuts and bolts things. So like, what kind of cabin do you guys stay in? Do you stay in a regular cabin like the rest of us do, or do they put you in the crew cabins?
Well, on Disney, I'm in a passenger cabin. It's usually on like floor 2 or 5, usually, or 6 on the Fantasy, I believe. Anyway, they're really nice rooms. We get the same turn down service you guys get, but I will always tell the steward to not bother with that. Like, save your time. We're going to tip you, but just do, we don't need the razzle dazzle.
You can towel animals every night, Marcus?
I can make my own towel animal.
Not a quad threat. I was expecting just a regular old triple threat, and here you are making your own towel animals.
All I do is I take a towel and I drop it, and then it's a dead ghost. So not that great.
Have you seen the creepy one where they make a guy that's laying in your bed if you leave your sunglasses out?
No.
I'll have to send you a picture of that one. We got that one recently.
Someone do that? Someone made that?
Yeah, you walk in and it looks like somebody's laying in your bed. It's like super creepy.
Yeah, definitely text me that photo. I want to see that. That's great. I love that.
It's like a pirate night thing, Steve.
Oh, well, I would love to see that. That's fun. I like that.
Okay, how about food? Where do you guys get to eat? Can you eat in the crew places, or do you eat in the main restaurants? Where do you guys eat?
So funny you're asking me these questions, because today my agent just sent me the new DCL handbook for the variety acts, and it has like all the rules and everything. So I will refer to the handbook because I think they did make some changes.
Oh, no.
And
no more pizza on deck 10 or 9 or whatever it is.
Oh, no, that better not change.
Well, coming from New York, I think that what have you been able to do in the past? How's that?
I can do anything. You can do anything you want. I just can't go to the crew areas, but I can go to the dining room most times for lunch. I'm not a big breakfast guy, but I'll do for lunch and dinner. We'll go to the dining room if we can. It's really too bad they took away the Cabanas dinner, because like a lot of times when we had shows, that was the only time we could eat. Room service is tricky because my wife's a vegan, so it's not much there for her to eat. And they used to update that menu. Like they used to have like chicken fajitas, I remember, on the room service menu. And then they took that off. And then there was a time where they were like going to charge people for it. And then they stopped doing that. So I don't know what they're doing. But I just saw in this email here that now they say, please use gender inclusive terminology. No more ladies and gentlemen or boys and girls. It's now, hello, everyone, guests of the Disney Magic.
Nice. I'm into it.
Yes. So Chris, would you be offended if someone said, hello, ladies and gentlemen?
No, but I'm identifying as a lady, but right. I'm also a public speaker. So I understand that my audience will have such a wide range of things.
Yeah.
And honestly, the gender inclusive stuff opens you up to such fun ways to refer to groups of people. Like, you could do a goblins and ghoulies, you could do like a peepadoodles or like Snickers, or you could be like friends. In fact, the fireworks show at Disneyland refers to people as dreamers of all ages, which, come on, who doesn't want to be a dreamer of all ages?
Everyone the beauties and the beasts.
Yeah, that would be a moment you could do.
I'd be pushing the envelope again to see
You
what they
would be.
say.
You would be.
Would it? Is that bad?
No.
No, I think that's right. Everyone can be beautiful. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that, but it's interesting that they're doing that. I think in terms of Disney recently announcing the fourth key or the fifth key of inclusion,
Yeah.
I think the cruise line is sort of catching up to the rest of the company in this regard.
Two other questions for you from our listeners. It seems one of the questions was, it seems that you're doing less cruises right now, but I think that's just part of the nature. Do you want it to increase, or do you like kind of that balance now where you are?
No, I unfortunately my schedule is just so busy lately that it's hard to take a week off to do a cruise. So I'm doing a few cruises coming up on the Magic that are like those 5-day cruises out of New York. Those are really nice. I have another one coming up that's like a 3-day cruise. So Disney's been great and flexible with my schedule. I would do more cruises if I could afford the time to do them. It's just it's hard to take me away from the city for a week and for other gigs for a whole week. So it's a little tough, but I love going on Disney cruise lines when I'm available.
And then she wanted to know, how's the grandbaby?
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you for asking it. Poppy is doing great. She is coming on a cruise in October on the Wonder. I cannot wait. She's going to be 2 in January. And I know she's like way too young to go on a cruise. Like she'll never remember it, but I think it's just a photo op for her parents pretty much. So like, and she'll get to see me perform. But I mean, like I said, she's not going to remember it, but it's just going to be great. Yeah, she's lovely. And yeah, thank you for asking. Whoever sent that in, thank you.
Yeah, Kate asked that. I mean, she gets some great pictures with the princesses and everything like that.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
She tried
They're
on
going to
this
love her.
princess dress the other day. Like it was just so cute. And oh yeah, she wears these cute little pink glasses and she's just adorable.
So I know you got a lot of other shows coming up here recently. It seems like you're going out to the Midwest and all the way out to Las Vegas and stuff like that. Where are some of your favorite places to go?
Oh man. Well,
is that a tough question? I could scratch that one.
No, it's not a tough question. It's I love going to London to perform and doing shows. I had a 6-month stint or 2-month stint out there. That was lovely. Loved the people there. But I just love going to new places. I'm going to Vermont for my first time on Wednesday. I think that's going to be great. I'm driving. It's like a 6-hour drive, but it's going to be beautiful. I just like going to new, interesting places. And it's always fun to go to places I've been before because then I have like favorite restaurants or people I know there. That's always good. You know, as long as I'm going somewhere, that means I'm working. So I'm happy. You know, it's just like I'm blessed. And so it feels good.
So what would be like your pinnacle in terms of career goals that you can think of? I'm sure that there's a roof higher than the roof, but like where if you were like, I could do a thing right now, I'm going to be on SNL. I'm going to, you know, buy my own cruise ship and start themed Marcus cruises. What would be your like pinnacle?
Well, I think a themed Marcus cruise should be on everyone's bucket list. I will say SNL would be fun. I've never looked into performing on that show or being a cast member, but Lauren, if you're listening, let's sign me up for an audition. I'm happy. I'm really happy doing what I'm doing. I don't need to be rich or extremely famous to have a career, which is good. I love just being busy with performing and writing new jokes. It makes me happy. Goals for myself, though, I do, of course, dream of being able to play any major city, selling out a nice size theater, getting people to come out and just providing like, you know, making a town laugh is like really fun. And I know it sounds corny. I just want to, you know, make people happy, but that's the truth. And I've always said that it's what keeps me going. And I never try to put anyone down in my show. I never try to make anyone the butt of my joke that isn't me. So I'm happy doing that.
I will say that comedians can stress me out because I feel like a lot of comedians like to punch down.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much punching down in our culture and society.
Yeah.
But you are a refreshing comedian because you punch up, and I love a good punch up. So
thank you very much. Listen, I'm definitely an ally of people, and I think we have more in common than differences. And so left, right, whatever, we can all agree that juggling's weird. So that's like one common ground that we can all come together and talk about. But yeah, I thank you, Chris, so much for saying that. I appreciate that. I just, I just talk about, I actually wrote like 10 minutes on whale watches when I was in Alaska. And then I said it 2 nights ago and people got offended.
Oh no.
My whale watch bit is offensive, but I'll post it to Instagram soon and you can be the judge.
Okay,
Well,
I can't wait.
Well, Marcus, thank you so much for all you've done for our show. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure having you back again. It's always fun to catch up. It always like warms my heart when I get a text every now and then from you going like, "Where's my bags?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that's not your department, but yeah, where are my bags?
No, but serious.
I'm glad to see you, and I hope you and the boys are doing well. It'd be fun to be on a cruise with you guys sometime.
Yeah, well, I keep watching your schedule to see where you are, and hopefully one of these days we're going to be able to book it. But if people want to get a hold of you and follow you on social media, what's the best way for them to follow you, Marcus?
Do Instagram or TikTok. Instagram or TikTok. I'm not on Facebook, but Instagram or TikTok would be probably the preferred ways. It's Marcus Monroe. I'm verified on both. Just search them, you'll find it.
Well, and also it is your website pretty up to date as far as like shows coming up? No. Okay. I'll keep that out.
Look, I haven't checked it in a while. I don't know. I don't update my own website. I have a team. Oh my God, that sounds like I'm such an idiot. I have a guy does it. I will check with him to see. I think so.
No, that's okay. Well, I'll cut that part out because you said you're going to be in Vermont, and I was just like trying to give people where if they want to.
It says Vermont. Okay, good. Yeah, if it says Vermont, things should be updated. Okay. Vermont. But yeah. If you're in New York City, I play New York shows all the time, and not all of them are on my website because some of them just happen. Like I get booked last minute sometimes when I'm home. So my Instagram will keep those. Like I have 2 shows tonight that both got booked last weekend. So yeah.
Well, there you go. So follow Marcus on Instagram. If you're in New York, make sure you check it because it would be just a treat to be able to catch you in New York City. And also if you're sailing on the Magic sometime soon, watch for him to possibly be on board there. And please, 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 as the Juggler said, he's the best show on board. Make sure you go out and see him. So thank you so much, Marcus, for coming on.
That's so nice. Thank you guys so much for having me. I can't wait to return for my 5th time.
The jacket.
We'll have that jacket set for you and make sure we get sent to you. So once again, thanks so much, Marcus, for coming on, and all the best to you. We'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you both.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Once again, I really want to thank Marcus for coming on, and catching back up with him is always a lot of fun. If you happen to be in the New York area, once again, probably the best way to possibly catch a show with him is by following him on Instagram. You can go to Instagram.com/Marcus J. Monroe, and you can find out all the information there for his upcoming shows, whether you're in the New York area or possibly sailing on Disney Cruise Line as well. So do yourself a treat when next time you're on Disney Cruise Line and you see Marcus as the headlining act as well. Remember, the Juggler is the best act, so make sure you go out and catch him. He's just a great individual and just one of the amazing performers that Disney Cruise Line brings out there for you. Well, if you have been enjoying this show and know others would enjoy it as well, we sure would appreciate it if you'd pass it on. That helps us get a little bit better known in the Disney cruising, the Disney podcasting, and just the cruising podcasting community in general. Also, I want to thank each and every one of you who've gone over to iTunes or wherever you listen to this show and give us a review. That, once again, helps us get found and for others to find the show as well. So thank you so much for each and every one of you who do that. As always, we'd like to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. They help bring this show to you each and every week ad-free. If you'd like to find out more on ways that you can support our show, you can go to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find out all the information there. Well, we are moving into Halloween season now as it's October. If you're heading out on a Disney cruise, Halloween on the High Seas, heading down to Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland, or Mickey's Not So Scary at Disney World, or just getting the kids ready for the fun and excitement that is Halloween at the end of October here. On behalf of myself, Steve, Christy, and Chris, all of us here at the DCL podcast, we want to wish you to be well, enjoy time with family and friends, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast.
The DCL podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show. If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.